Welcome back. We're in Maiden Abyss. We're about to experience something truly horrific. If anything, well, if the last episode was anything to go by, I have almost no questions. I don't want to know. I'd rather live in blissful ignorance. Plus, I'm not really that hungry. But I also have it on good authority that this episode is one hell of a show. And if it makes an impression more so than previous ones we've seen, oh dear. But this is Maiden Abyss. This is a journey that we can't turn away from. Let's see what it takes to survive. Right down here. Ooh, that sound of Reg leaving the barrier. In order to make a trade, get Nenachi out again. Something that Balaf would be willing to trade easily there. The fact that a promise like that, which means so much to her, actually, yeah, not too bad. Ask for some confirmation. What is this promise? Yes, knowledge. I mean, a fair trade, I think. Does she regen at all, or just really wants to uphold a promise? And keeping healthy, fit, fed. How is everyone going to react after being healed in this way? And also, after seeing these episodes so far, bits of the opening starting to make a little bit more of an impact. And after, like what we've seen with the Cradle of Desire, the egg thing. Right there from the outset of it, we didn't really realize what it actually meant. But considering we've already been told about Ifumi's past, where she came from, why she was exiled. Getting her to this state now with her new wish. Belef is doing good. He's breaking a little after the knowledge of what was forced upon him. And my question about how is everyone taking it? Yeah, he'll be fine, sure. Just needs a night to sleep it off. With him speaking so calmly and unapologetically. And the fact that he introduces himself so calmly and she still cares for each and every one of them until feeding time. But for what? The good of the expedition. Well, he's a bit of a gourmet, isn't he? Is she going to be feeling any better if she takes part in it? Jesus Christ. Like, some members of the group already somewhat losing themselves, but the fact that they have that symbiosis and kind of need each other, even in this current state. What does she intend? Ah. That, yeah. Slimy heartbeat. I mean, without vocalizing it, what was her wish? And if she doesn't have the ability to speak, does Irumi have the wherewithal to understand what she's saying? And yet, to continue to live, she has to go through these things. He would rather not. And they are getting a little more plump. might need to... I mean... Did it shatter? And what did he just say? Okay. So his idea is just to keep feeding her these cradle of desires to be able to keep everyone alive. A mixture of which is what does the extra ones do to her? God, that calm look as though everything is for the greater good. She's a little restless. The kind of understanding that Wezican has about what's going on here. Oh, she's up and moving. At quite the pace, actually. Oh no. And now, because the curse of the abyss being so Bailiff being completely giving up at this point, but where's again? Nah, we're too useful. But because he is so pure, as it were. A hidden spot close to the center of the pit. Oh. I mean, as a way of getting them out of the area. I mean, the fact that some of them are kind of just getting on, and then there's the likes of Belaf, who is so apologetic to it. Something like that being forced upon him. Well, don't worry, it won't last long. And as if she had heard his pleas, the entrance to the village is created. I mean, to be fair, out of all of the things being converted to their new forms, Belaf got off kind of cool. Better than some. And he has shown everyone the way to their queen. I mean, is there enough room in there for all of you right now? I mean, she's shouldering the brunt of this. It has possibly corrupted her desires, her wish, being imbued by something else there, with such a calming presence. And now using a bit of emotional abuse there to try and keep her around. But it won't be allowed. That's not pseudo. That's the cradle of desire, the wishes of adults. And this is why you are. This is why you are forced into this pit inside her head. But apparently, giving your body to Ryumi overcomes a bit of bodily corruption thanks to the cradles. But seeing the origin of why she's here, what this place is, Jesus. They've found a new place to belong, a new home. I mean, this place has such a great ambience. Squelch, squelch. Could you at least put a few extra bits of lighting in? Oh, actually seeing who is who. Fair enough. So she just continued to exist. Huh. Is it the one wish they could actually give her? if the first cradle didn't do it, there's the birth of Fapta. And apparently a very uncontrollable child. While her human intelligence might not be there, yeah, the anguish that she was suffering. And now that the interference units there were taken out and destroyed, for a newborn, pretty self-sufficient. Continuing on your own wishes and desires from your offspring. Ah, I see. The souls of offspring still to come, yet to be, that were. And she's now separated from all of that, remember? That's a complicated face. So what is keeping her afloat, as it were? Didn't we see? Yeah. Break the curse. What is Riko gonna try and find a way of helping out? Of course not. She did not listen to her. It's her dream, her goal. Could you so easily replace it? Does she have any ideals, any wishes, other than being with her? What do you mean? See? Clear, simple, pungent desire there. So, like, wishing to be free, safe, or anything. No, just to keep the memory of her dear Irumi there. So why can I never remember what it's called? You know, where things are broken down into their value when people misbehave. Being essentially from the souls of the children. And that is, in essence, also what is keeping the village afloat and alive, and by extension, Irumi. And Wazukan, yeah, just keep stuffing those Cradle of Desires in until something happens. But holy fuck! I think that's the only appropriate exclamatory for this. Sure, we knew somewhat Razukan was taking the children to be used as food, keeping the villagers alive, getting the symptoms of the water taken away, like reduced, keep them up and running. Didn't expect we'd be having like a Gordon Ramsay cooking class with it still wriggling on the table. With Fapta offering off bits of herself to get for the promise with Reg, so he can then go to Balaf and I've got a trade. Do you take limbs? Which, yeah, he would if it's part of the princess there. But God, Balaf really losing it. So it's not only the fact that it's not only the fact that he was consuming Urumi's children, not only the fact that everything that portrayed, or portained, it was the fact that it was so damn delicious and moorish that he really would have wanted more. I think that's what tipped him over the edge there. He can't stop himself. But then Yumi opening up a passage, allowing them to be born anew. Some getting slightly better new bodies than others, but if crossing the barrier into this place changed them, then why wasn't Rico and whatnot? But if it means they have to have the desire to as well, it kind of makes sense. But also being told here that this is the ideal spot for this village, and Irumi chose it because it is near exact centre of the pit. Now, was it just that area, or was it talking about the abyss as a whole? Because if so, they've got a long journey ahead of them. How selfish. Velko, will your predictions, your premonitions be wrong if I just jump off this cliff here? Leaving Irumi to her fate, do you really think that they would let up easy on now that she's out of the picture, not to protest at all? Now you're just leaving her not only to her fate, but also without her one and only there by her side. One of the only things that she really wanted. And you know, I've heard plenty of tales of what people are capable of doing in order to survive. And honestly, seeing something like this, I'm not sure how far some of us would actually go if we would be capable of things like that. Then again, luckily our world doesn't really have relics of unimaginable power, granting wishes, converting people into towers. Would make the housing crisis a little easier to go by. But Made in Abyss, I know every time I know something's coming. I know that we are going to be traumatized just by watching it. There's no getting used to it. There's no expecting the worst to then only realise what you were imagining was nowhere near quite as bad as what we saw. Usually the case is, especially with like horror movies and the like, the idea is to never show the monster because people's imaginations are worse than anything you can come up with. And then Made in Abyss comes along and shows that that is complete bollocks. We'll say, Made in Abyss still holds up with really nice music, some really touching moments, questioning your entire existence. So I think I need some time to myself. If you enjoyed this episode, let me know. Leave a like and a comment down below. Consider subscribing so you don't miss out. Consider joining onto my Discord for when I'm not a quivering mess trying to work out what to do. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. If you want to make sure that I eat healthily, consider joining onto my Patreon. And thanks to the likes of Noku, Raywin, Sal, Arthea, Kite, Shiwan, Mats, Gurley, Cardboard, Croyville, Levi GR, Scott Raymond, Mega42, Dark Shadow 7899, Jim Ace, Adam Horvath, Moaha, Finez Kid, YOLO Dragon 123 and everyone else. I may be able to find a true place for this channel to settle down. I just hope it's not in a monster-filled den quite like what we saw.